Asher abete perro begerto, yeta perro begelo que comin. Bacarnish beaderto, yish beabegelo que comin. Genish hacho hatarota arushanoto, benki.
Shabbat Shalom, Mispachai, Brother Araya. And today's Torah Parsha is Wayigash, right? And it's going to be Bereshit, chapters 44, verse 18 through chapter 47, verse 24. And the half Torah is going to be Ezekiel, chapter 37, verses 15 through 28, all right? So, I want to give everybody a Baruch day, a Baruch Yom. And we'll go ahead and get started. So, 44 and verse 18. Bring your father and your households and come to me, and I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the finest portions of the land. Now you are commanded, do this, take carts out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Also do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land in Egypt is yours. And the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them carts according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provisions for the journey. He gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of garments. And he sent his father these things: 10 donkeys loaded with good things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed. And he said to them, see that you do not cause a disturbance along the way. Then they went up out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, because he did not believe him, right? And so that heart fainted is Wayapag Labo, right? Wayapag Labo. And it means the inner man was stunned. So Wayapag Labo, what is showing here is showing that the inner man was stunned. So he was stunned on the inside. So it's more than a heart fainting. It's more of like a stunned disbelief, because he did not believe them. And when they told him all these words which Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts which Joseph had sent to carry him, the Ruach of Jacob their father lived. And Israel said, it is enough, Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Chapter 46. So Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices to the Elohim of his father Yitzhak. And Elohim spoke to Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, here I am. Right? And so whenever Yudewahe says the word twice, it means pay close attention, certainly that this thing will come to pass. And you see that in Isaiah when he says, Anoki, Anoki, Yudewahe, I am Yahweh. There is no Savior but me, right? So he wants you to pay close attention. You see that same thing here in verse 1, verse 2, where he says, Elohim spoke to Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, here I am. And he said, I am El, the Elohim of your father. Do not fear to go down to Mizraim, for I will make you a great nation there. In Hebrew, Legoyi Gadal means a great nation, physical multiplicity. This is to begin when they arrive in Egypt, using both the models of patriarchal marriages, monogamy and polygyny. And they are multiplied greatly because they believe the command to be fruitful and multiply. And you see that today, polygyny is a big topic within Israel, but you see within the sojourn in Israel, they multiplied. Why? Because they believed in that commandment to be fruitful and multiply. Verse 4, I will go down with you to Mizraim, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes. And Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob, their little ones, and their wives, in the carts which Pharaoh had sent to carry them. And see here, it's calling Joseph Pharaoh, right? Because Joseph was ruling, but Joseph sent the carts. gave him, Pharaoh told him he can give him whatever he want, provisions to go back and do what he needed to do. Verse 6. And they took their livestock and their goods, which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to Mizraim, Yaqub and all his descendants with him, his sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his descendants he brought with him to Mizraim. Now these are the names of the children of Israel who went to Mizraim: Yaqub and his sons Reuben, Yaqub Bechar, his firstborn. The sons of Reuben: Chanok, Palu, Chetzron, and Carmi. The sons of Shimon, Yimiel, Yamin, Ochad, Yachin, Zochar, and Shaul. The sons of the Canaanite woman, right? And so this is evidence that Simon had another wife at the same time. So he had children from Buna, this Canaanite woman, alongside with the children from his first principal wife. Okay, so this right here, they've been doing it. It was a central part of Israelite culture. Let's see, verse 11. The sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Yehuda: Onan, Selah, and Pharez, which is the kingly line, and Zarach, right? And so, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Pharez was Chetzron and Chamul, right? Chamul. The sons of Yiscar was Tola, Pua, Yobe, and Simran. The sons of Zebulun: Zered, Elon, Yakleel. These were the sons of Leah, which she bore to Yaqub in Padan Aram. And his daughter Dinah, all the persons of his sons and his daughters were 33. The sons of Gad was Zephon, Haggai, Shuni, Etzban, Eri, Arodi, and Areli. The sons of Asher: Yimna, Ashua, Isui, Bereah, and Sariah, Sariah, their sister. And the sons of Beriah: Heber and Machael. These are the sons of Zilpah, who Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bore to Yaqub, 16 persons. The son of Rachel, Yaqub's wife, Yosef and Benjamin. And to Yosef in the land of Mizraim were born Manasseh and Ephraim, and who Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, the Kohen of On, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin: Bele, Bachor, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Echi, Rosh, Mipum, Kupim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel who were born to Yaqub, 14 persons in all. The sons of Dan: Koshim. The sons of Naphtali: Yachazel, Guni, Yeser, Shelim. These were the sons of Bilhah, who Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, and she bore them to Yaqub, 7 persons in all. So it's naming all the grandchildren and saying that they came through each, all the grandchildren that came through each woman from their sons. But it calls them the sons of that woman, right? Because that's what she progeny. That was her progeny. And so I just wanted to point out too that Joseph prospered in the land of his affliction, right? So he ate, it was equal to eat the fruit of the land. So a lot of Israelites be saying that, oh, we're in the land of captivity, we came so and so, but this is evidence that Joseph prospered in the land of his affliction, right? He was eating from the fruit of the land, but he's kept Torah and he remained true to Elohim, okay? So now, verse 26. Verse 26. All the persons who went up with Yaqub to Mizraim, who came from his body, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 persons in all. And the sons of Yosef, who were born to him in Mizraim, were 2 persons. All the persons of the house of Yaqub who went to Mizraim were 70. All right, and so here in the Septuagint reading, it's 75. Ma'aseh Sachim, right? Even though we don't follow in the book, the New Testament, the Ma'aseh Sachem in the book of Acts 7:14 gives the number as 75 as also, right? So we look and see that's where Either the 75 or 70. That's one of the discrepancies that scholars say. Verse 28. Then he sent Yehuda before Yosef to find out, to point out before him the way to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. And Yosef made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father, Yisrael. And he presented himself to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. So what did he do? He hugged him and cried. Then Yosef said to his brothers and to his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and say to him, my brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me. And the men are shepherds, for their occupation has been to feed livestock, and they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. So it shall be when Pharaoh calls you and says, what is your occupation? That you shall say, your servant's occupation has been with livestock from our youth till now, both we and our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Mizraim. Right? And that's another reason why the Most High was telling Pharaoh to through Moses to let my people go into the wilderness to worship me, because the doing the sacrifices and shepherding and all that stuff was an abomination to the Mizraim. Not only that, they didn't necessarily worship animals, but they venerated the animals as well. So that was another reason why. So the Egyptians worshiped bulls, sheep, and as Elohim. Thus these people did not like those who ate these animals. The same can be seen in India today, where the Muslims and Christians eat cows, but Hindus worship the cows as set apart. Therefore, they hate the people who eat these animals, and many times violence erupts because of this. And that's it. And you're still seeing that something ancient that is modern. Okay. Let's see here. Where did I leave off at? Okay, chapter 47, verse 1. Then Yosef came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess, have come from the land of Canaan, and indeed they are in the land of Goshen. And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his brothers, what is your occupation? And they said to Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds, both we and also our father. And they said to Pharaoh, we have come to dwell in the land because your servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now therefore please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Then Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Mizraim is before you. Have your father and your brothers dwell in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen, and if you have any competent men among them, then make them herdsmen over my livestock. And Joseph brought his father Jacob and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob spoke in increase for Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Jacob, how old are you? And Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Right? So today many believers are more concerned with building houses and purchasing more and more property, but our forefathers saw themselves as pilgrims, even though the land of Israel had been given to them permanently by Yudhe. Buying houses is not wrong, but our heart attitude needs to be in line with Yudhe, to use those houses for Yudhe, not for our own selfishness. Right? And so as far as the 130 years, a Gentile historian by the name of Polyhistor from Demetrius also states the age of Jacob when he came into Egypt as 130, and that year to be the 3rd year of the famine. All right, so this is just a little background, little history on that. And Yosef situated his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Mizraim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. Right. Then Yosef provided his father, his brothers, and all his father's household with lachem, according to the number in their families, according to the number of the mispachot, their families. Now there was no lachem, which is bread, in the land of the famine, which was very severe, so that the land of Mizraim and all the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. And Yosef gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when the money failed in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan, and all the Mizraim came to Yosef and said, give us lachem, For why should we die in your presence? For the money has failed. Right? Because the money was failing, it was falling. So the allusion here is to money, which will fall one day and be worthless unless it is pegged to something tangible. This is what happened in the future, which is so much so the near future. I say April of next year, you're going to see these things. You already see the economy faltering, and you already see the dollar losing value, among other things. So it's written in the Torah. This is why I kept telling people to gather yourselves together, get you some land, join a community, or start a community, etc. Learn to farm, get out of the cities, but it falls on deaf ears. But it's written and encoded in the Torah right here, as we see. Verse 16. Then Yosef said, give me your livestock, and I will give you lachem for your livestock, if the money is gone. So that's the same thing that's going to happen to America too, right? When the money faileth, and they're not going to give you something for free. They're going to tell you, hey, give us this right here, what you got, and we'll give you lachem. So they brought their livestock to Yosef, and Yosef gave them lachem in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them with lachem in exchange for all their livestock that year. And you're going to see people start selling their possessions and things like that, just to get money for food, or bartering this and that for food. You're going to see that here in the near future. When that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, we will not hide from my master that our money is gone. My master also has our herds of livestock. There is nothing left in the sight of my master but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes? Why should we die before your eyes? Both we and our land. Buy us and our land for lachem, and we and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land may not be desolate. Then Joseph bought all the land of Mizraim for Pharaoh, for every man of the Mitzri sold his field, because the famine was severe upon them, so the land became Pharaoh's. And in my opinion, America is going to go the same way as this right here. Okay, people are going to be saying the same thing and end up becoming slaves. There's nothing new under the sun. Verse 21. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities, from one end of the borders of Mizraim to the other. Is that not what you're seeing going on in America right now? They're buying up all the farmland and building all these apartments in the cities and stuff like that, and pushing people to cities. This is everything that's going on right now. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything that's going on right now is in this play. The playbook is in here. They're taking things from in here and applying it again. 22. Only the land of the priests did he not buy, for the priests had rations allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their ration which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their lands. Then Joseph said to the people, indeed I have bought you and your land this day for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the harvest that you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 shall be your own, as seed for the field and for your food, and for those of your household, and as for food for your little ones. So why did he say 1/5? This is the ancient form of taxation. In fact, Pharaoh's benevolence, as he owned all the land, allowing them to keep 80% and giving only 20% to him. From here, this is what the sages, which we don't follow the sages, but this is what the sages teach. If we are able to, we should give 20% Zedekiah tithe, as all the lands belong to Yudhe after all the deductions. So as can be seen, taxation in a capital society came out of the Torah, and also the loaning system is out of the Torah. Right, as we just said. So they gave 1/5. All right, and so verse 25. So they said, you have rescued our lives. Let us find favor in the sight of my master, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Mizraim to this day that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the land of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. So Israel dwelt in the land of Mizraim in the province of Goshen, and they had possessions there, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. All right, now for the half Torah, Ezekiel 37. And we're going to read verses 15 through 28. Right? Let me turn to it real quick. You know what I mean? Hekizel, 37, 15, 20, 37, 15. All right. Ezekiel 37 and 15 through 28. The word of Yahweh came to me again, saying, Moreover, you son of man, take yourself one etz, and write upon it for Yehuda and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another etz, and write upon it for yourself the etz of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. Right? So what are these sticks? The Hebrew word is for an etz, a tree, and not necessarily a stick or staff. Because different Hebrew words are used for these things, we know that this was an etz, a tree. Yahweh is giving Ezekiel two sticks or two trees, one wild and one natural, to join together. Okay? In verse 17, he says, For Yosef and etz is Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions, and join them one to another into one tree, and they shall become a chad in your hand. Right? The Hebrew word here is a chad, meaning to unite them into one tree. Basically, Ezekiel is showing grafting in of one Gentile tree into the other drash. So all the people talking about no salvation for the Gentiles it's already been encoded and embedded in the Torah. Become a chad in your hand, right? The two brides will become united in Yahweh's hand. Drash, allegorical, they still remain separate, but they're united now and will purpose, right? And when it says about that Gentile, because Ephraim kind of went into the Gentiles way, it's talking about, but there is Gentile salvation in the Torah though, and that video is coming up this week. And when the children of your people shall speak to you, saying, Will you not show us what you mean by these? Say to them, Thus says the Master Yahweh, Behold, I will take the etz of Yosef, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the etz of Yehuda, and make one staff out of them, and they shall be one in my hand. And the trees etzim whereon you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And say to them, Thus says the Master Yahweh, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the Gentiles where they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one sovereign shall be sovereign to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Right? It says, although they continue to occupy the north and south of Israel, but they will not have a king in each area, like they did during Solomon's death. But in fact, Yahweh will bring back King David's reign. This is his reward for his trustworthiness. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols or with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will rescue them out of their dwelling places, wherein they have transgressed. So with the heart of flesh, Israel will want to transgression no more. And what they experienced in Sheol, they will also never want to go there. This is also a clear indication that they died in transgression outside of the land of Israel. Verse 24. And verse 23 is referring to unclean foods, idols, all that. Verse 24, and Dawid my servant shall be sovereign, shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my right rulings and observe my statutes and do them. This is King David, who will be resurrected in the millennium reign. Okay, and King David will be a co-regent ruling with one of his descendants, as you see him doing with King Solomon when David was sick. Also, the ones Yahweh gives a chance to will start to obey him. Note, Yahweh will remove the rebels and not raise them, as that is another group that will be remaining in Sheol. You can see that in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 38. So all you talking about Christ, you refuse to come back to the Most High alone, it's what Good luck. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant Dawood shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a contract and agreement of shalom with them. It shall be an everlasting contract agreement with them, and I shall place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. All right, so we know that this is the millennium because Yudhewahe has established his third Hekel amongst those resurrected, and those that came into the land, that survived the wilderness and the purification of fire. And my tent also shall be with them. Yes, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the nations shall know that I, Yahweh, do set apart Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. All of this is yet to take place. This is the millennium temple rebuilt, the house of Israel resurrected, and now they can live for the rest of their lives. All right, and that would be the end of today's Torah Parsha. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it, today's reading, today's Parsha. And we'll see you next week. Into the next video that we drop, I bid you shalom, shalom.
Asher abete berbe gerto yeta berbe loge komin bakanish beade erto yish beade loge komin genish khafo khatrota arshanoto bekini setaro meganai Asher hamita berbe gerto yita berbe loge komin Wagen is be a bikin robo, is be a bikin long and coming. Genis a cajo and the rota rusonoto, when kinis at the rome canai.